I'm back. Oh, we can't see me. I'm back.
Like I never left. I hate when my ears pop out when I wear hats.
We're like unhinged with Jordan.
Crazy person.
Yeah, no, he was a crazy person.
Like you lived with like,
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait, so
she
where
took
was
his
he?
dog.
No.
Yeah.
Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of Unfiltered with me, Jordan. And this is George Gaston. He is back. Well, actually,
First time.
we had a little bit of a technical dilemma last time he came on. We're not going to go into it. There's no need.
Thanks, guys.
So today we're going to be talking about a little more of a sensitive-ish topic. Yeah.
How sensitive, Jordan?
Pretty sensitive.
As sensitive as your hand?
All right. We're going to be talking about mental health, George. So be nice to me. Thank you. Anyways, so we're going to be talking about mental health in college, the ups, the downs, the everything in between, things that George has gone through, things that I've kind of gone through, how we've navigated, because I'm in my senior year. George is in his... How would you describe yourself as a student? Are you
Super senior.
He's in his super senior year. He's been around the block a few times, so we're going to get a little bit of perspective from George and what he's been through, because he was in college before COVID, kind of not during COVID, and then after COVID, so he came back. So we're going to kind of just get a gist of how to deal with hard stuff. Does that sound good to you?
Sounds great to me.
All right, good.
So I was a freshman in 2017 here at Longwood, and didn't do great in school. Failed a couple classes here and there. And then when 2020 hit, COVID hit, obviously, and was not doing well, like mentally with COVID, so decided to drop out. Took 3 years to myself, worked a whole lot of different places, traveled around a little bit, and finally came back in December of 2023, or fall of 2023, I mean, and graduating this December of 24.
So George definitely did not have your stereotypical college experience where you get in and out in 4 years and it's all sunshine and rainbows. But I think that's something valid to talk about, because it's never usually 4 years sunshine and rainbows. Even if you do get in and out in 4 years or sometimes 3 years, it is a process. And yeah, me and George actually met in the fall of 2023. Do you want to tell them the story, or do you want me to?
Yeah, it was a dark morning. So I had a bad morning, I think. I don't really remember exactly what I was feeling, but I remember why I was feeling that. I had been told by someone that I was going to have to essentially retake a class that I took back in 2017, but they changed the whole curriculum at the school, and basically that class became a different class, and they weren't recognizing the version that I took. I probably looked really grumpy, and Jordan looks at me and goes,
"What is wrong with you? Are you okay?" For this, like, whatever class we were taking, it was our very first time meeting as a class.
Yeah,
we're sitting at this big round table, and there's 7 people in the class, and I'm sitting straight across from George, and I'm just like looking at him, being kind of confused, because he looked like he was in such a bad mood. And I was so excited for this class, because we literally just broadcast and create video, and I'm like, this is so awesome, like, this is gonna be a great class. It's with Halliday, I'm gonna have so much fun. And then there's like this grown man sitting across from me, and he looks like he hates his life, and I'm like, what is wrong with him? Like, what is wrong? And the class gets to kind of like towards the end, and George is over there on his iPad and like with his laptop, he's trying to, like, or whatever you were doing, you're trying to figure out what you were going to do, and he was talking through with the professor, and I hung back because I had to ask him a question, not George. I was kind of scared to talk to him a little bit because he looked like he was in a bad mood. I had to ask Halliday something, and George is just sitting there, and I'm like, what is wrong with you? Like, and he kind of looked at me sideways, and I was like, no, like, are you okay? Like, I just want to help. Like, what's wrong? And Professor Halliday was like, Jordan, it's not how you approach someone. And I was like, well, he just looks like he's having a terrible time. I just want to help. And then ever since then, me and George have been best friends.
Cheers.
So that's how me and George met, and then we ended up being put in groups together all the time, and then we even chose to be in each other's groups when we got the opportunity to choose. So.
Oh, isn't that nice?
Yeah, ain't that sweet? But yeah, so that's how me and George met. So moral of the story, if George would have never came back to college, he would have never met me.
And my life would have been awful.
Yep, exactly. Anyways, so George, what was it like in that moment when you dropped out? How were you able to like accept the fact that you had to do what was best for you and your like mental well-being over doing what was easy and normal to society?
Yeah, it's a good question. It was a tough decision for a long time, and I had been thinking about it for a while. Even like into the semester before that. I think COVID was just kind of like, I'd like been walking toward the edge of the diving board, and then COVID just kind of like pushed me off, right?
Yeah.
So it was something I thought about a lot, and when COVID hit, I tried to do like COVID's college and stuff, and I just couldn't do it. And so the decision came to me pretty easy at that point, because I was just like, this is miserable. Like, I'm so unhappy. I am not learning anything. I'm paying so much money and not getting anything out of it. I just sit at my desk all day, and then I walk from my desk to my couch, and that's my whole day. Like, I'm so miserable, as many people were at the time, but I couldn't learn in that environment. I couldn't learn at all. So that decision took a long time, and maybe it should have been made sooner. But when the time was right, it kind of came to me pretty easy, and it made sense. Yeah. And so I remember calling my mom. I was like in the car. I don't remember where I was driving to, but I called her, and like I wasn't like sad or anything. I was just like, hey, like this is what's happening, and she was like, okay.
Yeah. Was it easy? Were your parents pretty supportive of you doing what was best for you? Yeah,
I think, they'd seen kind of the ups and downs I'd gone through in the last year or so. So I don't think it was super like out of the blue for them. Right. It was definitely a different thing because I moved back in with them kind of middle of the semester.
Especially during a time where you're basically going to be forced to be at home. Yeah. So you're going to be home with them all the time.
Yeah, that was rough. I very quickly, started working and was out of the house a little bit here and there. But it was definitely difficult.
Yeah. And then so when you went home, that was like a 2-year gap. You were home 2 or 3 years. You were home, kind of figuring things out.
Roughly, I lived at home for a little while, and then went to work back at an old summer camp that I used to work at a few years before that at the time, and ended up moving into that camp and working there. So. Living on the property, and it was pretty freaky. I was the only person living on like 50 acres of land, so that was kind of fun for a while.
That is cool.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I did that for a while, and then ended up moving out to Colorado and worked there for a bit, and that's a whole story within itself. Moved back to Virginia, worked at a golf course where I worked with some amazing people. And that was tough. That was really difficult to go from a really terrible work situation to a really awesome one. But I remember like driving into my interview there. It was like my first interview, coming back after leaving a really, really awful situation. And was like more nervous than I'd ever been for what felt like anything in my life. Because I was just like, oh my God, like I'll never find a decent job like with decent people. And then it was great. I worked there for almost 2 years, year and a half. And then while I was working there, kind of built my courage back up and reapplied to Longwood while I was working there. And I remember I got the email that I was accepted back while I was at work and got really excited. Showed my bosses. They were very happy.
You're
for
like,
me.
peace out.
Yeah.
A common feeling for people whenever things are really, really hard and tough, when things start to get good again, it's really easy to feel as if like something else is just going to happen. Like if it's not this, it's going to be that. Or right when things get good, something terrible can happen, and there's like always that constant fear in your mind. Did you ever have that feeling when you were deciding, like, because it sounds like you went from a terrible situation to a better situation to then an even better situation, because you went from bad workplace, good workplace, getting back into school, getting back into what you really wanted the end goal to be, which was to come back to school and finish out your degree. But when you were going through those phases of like things getting better and better, did you ever have a doubt that things could fall through, or like how did you handle that though, and like continue to just like persevere and keep going?
Yeah, no, there was so many times, countless times, where I was like, this is just my life now. Like I can't do this. I can't get back to school. But that was just like, a negative side of me trying to get out and consume me. So like, when I dropped out back in 2021, like, I always knew I wanted to come back and finish my degree. There was that need for that was definitely still always there. Yeah. I remember sitting down with Halliday and like telling him about all this, and I was like, I'm coming back. Like, trust me, I'm coming back. And he was like, I believe you. And I was like, no, seriously, like, you'll see me here soon. And he was like, I believe you. And then I remember emailing him. He was the first person I emailed or the first person I told when I got that email.
That you'd been accepted?
Yeah, that I got back, like, re-accepted. And he was like, hell yeah, I'll see you soon, bro.
Heck yeah, see you soon, bro. Anyways, Halliday's the best. Yeah, okay, so when you went through all that period of time of change and like you left in 2021 or 2020, and then you saw people you'd gone to school with for those few years graduate, what was that like?
That sucked. That sucked so bad. Like,
because it's probably hard seeing everyone else finish out what you had started, but knowing that it's like doing what's best for you, knowing that what's best for you might not be what's best for the rest, but you have to like go off on your own and do what you need to do to take care of yourself.
I wasn't in town when graduation happened. I think I was working or something, so I couldn't come to graduation. I watched the stream online because I had a lot of friends who were graduating that I was supposed to be walking with. So to like see like all these people that I like spent 4 years with graduate and I wasn't there walking with them, that hurt deep. Like, that was really tough for a while. But then I kind of came around and told myself exactly what you just said, which is like, just wasn't your time, bro. Like, your time's coming. And it did. And I am still in school, but I walked at commencement last May, and we're, a month and a half away?
That's scary. I don't like that. But we are a month and a half away from George leaving forever. Just kidding. His lease ends in May.
This semester has gone so fast. We're a month and a half away.
No, I know. And this has been like probably the best year so far for me out of all my years at school. Like, I don't know what it is about the energy or what it is.
There's confidence in the air.
Yeah. I think it's just a lot about you learn so much through your time in college. And if you're lucky enough to come, like, I'm the oldest between me and my brother, so I had older friends, but I never got to like learn through someone closest to me. So like even just like giving my brother advice and telling him things, I'm like, it's just so crazy, like watching him be a freshman. I'm like, oh my God, I would go anything to go back with the mindset I have now, be a freshman and live that out through my 4 years. But knowing that I had to go through all those things throughout my time here at Longwood, like I would never be in this situation right now if it wasn't for all those not great situations before. And so I feel like, I don't know, but there's definitely something in the air. I'm like, love in the air. It's like like love wasn't the word I was looking for. Happiness is in the air.
Doesn't flow as well though.
Happiness is in the air.
I don't like
Okay, you could have just gone with it for the sake of course not. Would you ever? Okay, anyways. So if you could go back and tell younger George something back in 2017 when he's eager going into college, and you could go back to the person you are right now, what would you tell him?
I'm going to give you an answer you're probably going to hate. I don't think I would.
You wouldn't go back and tell him anything?
No, because I think going through all of the bad experiences is like important. And like making those mistakes and learning from them is important. And so like if I were to go back in time and tell myself, like, don't take this job, or go hang out with these people instead of these people, like, how would I have grown from that? Like, if I didn't have those bad experiences. So I don't think I would go back and tell myself anything. I'm not evading your question, I promise. No. I've thought about this before, though.
No, I think that's like valid, because I've been asked the same thing by other like younger people who like I've been like mentoring, I guess, girls who are going through the recruiting process and like going through high school and friendships and going through relationships for the first time and going through a breakup or a friendship breakup, whatever it is. And they're always like, well, if you could go back and do it differently, like, would you? And I always say no. Like, yes, obviously, do I wish I didn't have to, like, feel those, like, hurt? Duh. Like, obviously, I don't want to be miserable or sad. You were coming back home and everything, getting ready for school. Was there ever, like, one thing you told yourself you wanted to accomplish by the time you graduated, besides graduating? Like, was there, like, a goal you had set for yourself to, or, like, something that you told yourself you would really focus in on to help get you through? Like, for example, me, I had to focus in on, like, prioritizing a routine. Like, if I didn't have a routine, I couldn't do anything. Like, I realized that after 3 years of going through injuries like that caused me to be out of a routine. I wasn't doing what I was used to doing. Or even just like eating, like being in routine of knowing when I'm going to eat, what I'm going to eat. Like, that might sound obsessive, but for me that works. So was there something that you had to do to get yourself to where you are now, post-grad, and now finishing out your degree now?
I wish I had a good concrete answer here for you, but nothing really comes to mind. I mean, I feel like just with time and age, I've sort of realized how to live a little bit better and how to function as a person. I'm definitely a lot more organized as a person, like within like time organization and just like physical organization. Like I keep my house a lot cleaner than like I used to. Because at some point I just realized like, oh, I don't like living in like a messy area.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
you're like, I would probably do better if my clothes weren't all over the floor.
And wow, you really do. It's wild.
If my house smelled better, I'd be happier.
Yeah.
My house smells good, don't even. I just got something new on the wax warmer. Are you kidding?
No, it
Does
smells
smell bad?
so good.
Are you serious? George, my mom's going to watch this and say that I'm not keeping my apartment clean.
Oh, it smells good.
Tell her that.
What's your mom?
Like, when you are thinking about yourself as a person, and like obviously you're going through like personal struggles, work struggles, school struggles, whatever it may be, how do you balance and find peace in that chaos of, you might be at work but you're stressed out about things at home? How do you put that aside and focus in on one thing, or like vice versa? Like, how do you take time and like prioritize your time to yourself though too, if you're at home and you're stressed about work? Like, what do you do? Because I think that's something that college, like, it's really easy to get so wrapped up in. If you're obsessive about school, you're obsessing about that. If you're obsessed about what your frat or sorority are doing, you're worried about that. If you're an athlete, you're worried about, oh, I need to do this, this, and this to make sure I'm starting and I'm performing well. But then I also need to worry about school, and all of those things are going on, and you're still like trying to get your education, but you're also then having to prioritize yourself and make sure you're okay so that you can succeed in those things. So how do you balance? Like, what do you do when you're in those scenarios and you want to just like balance what's going on?
I think you got to do some real soul searching first before you try
what is soul searching to you?
Like, understand and tell yourself what's important to you. Like, what's the most important thing in your life right now, and prioritize that. So don't half-ass 12 things. Just do 6 things really well.
Yeah.
Don't juggle too much.
Yeah.
Because then nothing is going to be to the level that you want it to be.
Yeah.
Like, I'm purposely not in any like student organizations. Like, when I came back, I didn't join any because I'm working on other stuff. Yeah. And I want that stuff to turn out really good. Whether that's, personal relationships or work or school work, like, those things take time, and I prioritize those over over like a student organization, for example. So I think a lot of people probably have more bandwidth than I do to kind of juggle more things at once. I found that like 5 or 6 things is like enough for me. Like, serious, like, major projects, like more than like 6 projects, I start turning things away. Like, I can't take more on than that. So finding that number is important. And also, like, it goes back to one of those things we talked about earlier of like, if I could go back in time and tell younger George, like, hey, like, your limit is like 6 major things going on right now, I don't think I'd tell him that, because like, I need for younger George to find that number himself. Yeah, and to like realize and to be overwhelmed for a little bit and be like, oh yeah, like, and to ultimately fail, because like, then it sticks with you a little bit harder. Like if I didn't know the number and was told like this is now too many things, then I'd be like, okay, sure, but it wouldn't stick with me.
Yeah.
Whereas like when you burn yourself out and you fail at something, it sticks with you. And for a while it sticks with you in a bad way, but at some point it evolves into a motivator and like a lesson you've learned of like, I know my limits now.
Yeah.
And I know what I can accomplish with a given workload as long as I stay within my limits.
Dang, that was good.
Thank you.
Good job, George.
Thanks. You too. Great host.
Thank you. Dang, that was really good.
Appreciate it.
Okay. All right. Any advice for the crowd of college students or pre-college students? Life advice for anyone watching before we close out?
Nope.
You have no advice.
Do what you love.
Do what you love. I like that. That's good. And if that is all, thank you, George, for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. That was a ton of fun, Jordan. First time we did this, too.
Yep, first time. We didn't do this like a few weeks ago and it got messed up. No, this is our very first time recording together. I thought we did pretty good.
Jordan doesn't have an elevator in her building. I had to walk up 4 flights of stairs to do this.
This is true.
4.
But just remember that when he says that I had to move myself into this apartment that was unfurnished on 4 flights of stairs.
Chose to live here. No one's feeling sympathetic.
Okay, no one, I didn't ask for sympathy. I'm just asking for acknowledgement. Is that the same thing? Thank you guys for coming on and listening to another episode of Unfiltered with Jordan. I will be back next Wednesday, and you can follow me on TikTok, Spotify, YouTube, or Instagram, and keep updated with Unfiltered with Jordan. Stay up to date.
Thanks, Jordan.
Thanks, Jordan. Bye.
Bye.
Stop.
Mets win. Let's go, Mets.
And whenever people say the Mets, I always think of that song. It's like, Benny with the Jets. Benny.
Yeah, the Elton John song?
Yeah, that's what I think of when I hear the word Mets.
Weird.